What's good, everybody? Welcome to another exciting episode of Full Circle. I'm your host, as always, Harmon Jr. Please feel free to find me at Harmon Jr. on all your favorite social media sites across the web. And people, we're going to get this intro out real quick because I told you we were going to have an anime special. And we have not had one the entire year so far. It's basically halfway done. I have lied to you. I am sorry. We are a video game podcast. We talk about video games and sometimes other nerd stuff. But to make up for that, we're having a One Piece special. The Wano arc is done. Finito in the books. It's a wrap. So we're just gonna go have One Piece heavy. We may run a little long today. Who knows? Because it's the greatest story told of all time. So I had to get a all-star cast of One Piece lovers to talk about it, who also love video games. We're still in that realm, people, to talk about it. And today I am joined by Breens The Rapper. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing good. I'm feeling good. I'm excited.
I know, and just real quick, just in case the people at home don't know, who are you and what do you do?
I currently work as the guide editor at GLHF, which is a media company which works with other partners like USA Today's For the Win and news.com.au, which is the biggest news site in Australia, to provide video game content and coverage. And in my spare time, I also produce rap music, which is distasteful for conservative governments and about smoking cannabis.
Well, all right. I believe, that's pretty much all the corners of rap.
Pretty much, yeah.
And also joining me today is Mark. Donica, how are you doing today, sir?
Look, here, we can bring it back to games real quick. One Piece Pirate Warriors 4, available on Game Pass. It deals with the Wano arc. Might as well hit it there. I'm doing good, man. I'm the internet's Mark Donica. I am a streamer, and I host a One Piece podcast called Yayo Talk Show, which we've gone all the way back to the beginning. A friend of mine, recently went back to recently started One Piece. And she is her anime brain is so focused that she's predicting stuff years before it happens. We went, stop. We have to record this. And so we started the show about a year ago, and it's been great to be back in the One Piece world. But she's not completely caught up yet, so it's great to have an opportunity to talk about everything that literally just happened. Oh my God.
Well, congratulations for convincing someone who has not watched One Piece to watch One Piece, because as we all know, it is an impossible task for whatever godforsaken reason. Don't know. People will sit through the first season of Game of Thrones and not complain, but won't start One Piece. I'll never understand it. Make it make sense.
Make it make sense.
Good analogy.
But all right, gentlemen, like I said, we're just going to jump right into it. We're going to start off with the Wano arc as a whole, what we thought about it, what we liked about it, what we didn't like about it, and where does it rank amongst all other arcs. And before we get started, I want to go ahead and say this, people. Honestly, I feel like the Wano arc is actually really three different arcs. I feel like each act is its own separate arc. Like, if I was to rate them separately as acts, the first act would be solid, not amazing, not bad, just solid. Act 2 knocks it out of the park. Act 3 is a mixed bag for me, but the second half is so damn good, it doesn't matter any problem that I have the first half. And collectively, where it's sitting for me, gut reaction right now is probably second only to Water 7 / Ennis Lobbies. I kind of just grouped those together. I will put it right under there. Maybe in time I'll feel differently, but right now, because it ended on such a hype high, that's where I'm sitting at. And Mark, I want to start with you. How are you feeling about Wano collectively?
It's taken us so long to get just through Onigashima that I usually forget the stuff that happens in Wano proper. And one of the great things about doing the show is we get a chance to go back and rewatch everything. And I'm looking forward to this rewatch. But once we got to Onigashima, nothing necessarily mattered to me before, because the art style got even more hype. The art direction got even more hype. The sound, like everything. Once we got to the raid, Wano stood up as one of the best sagas in the entire show. And it's really hard for me to weigh where it would stand. I like where your head is at. it took a lot to get to where we needed to be for Wano, but I feel like Wano could be a good jumping off point for some people, and whatever movie they make to try and like fit all of Wano into like one program would be a great place for people to jump onto One Piece to then go back to the beginning. But I you know, the anime can be it could have some issues when it comes to pacing, and sometimes you only get, we were talking about this before the show, you only get like 5 minutes of new material as opposed to like a full course, a full episode. But on the whole, Wano is going to be I feel like one of the things that people remember the most about this show because of how many payoffs, because of how special it looked and felt. Just phenomenal.
Breens, how you feeling, man?
Yeah, so as soon as you said like where does it like stand up in the rest of the series, like I was on the same path as you. I was like Water 7, Nenny's Lobby, and like Marineford up there for me at the top. And there's not really that much that comes up to touch it other than now Wano, honestly. Like that upper S tier for me. Like so as soon as we started Wano, like, you know, if you've been reading the manga weekly for years, then just as soon as Wano begins, it somehow feels fresh. And of course, as a fan of the series, you've heard about Wano since at least since Thriller Bark?
No, since Logetown.
Logetown, really?
When
Oh,
Zoro
of course,
gets
'cause
his
the swordsmith-
sword.
Sure. Yep. So it's been in the mythos for so long, and of course, there's so much hype and mystique build up around it. So when you get there, and I remember seeing the waves crashing around the ship, and one of those opening shots, and it looks like the old traditional Japanese artwork, and I was like, okay, it already feels like something so special, and it kept that feeling up throughout the arc because like it's been like 4 years. But it doesn't feel like it. Like Dressrosa took like 2 years, and that felt longer than Wano has, quite frankly. Just so much has happened, and we've finally got these like big climaxes for stories about characters that we've known since at least Punk Hazard, or if not before that in some cases. And I don't want to say it's like filled all my hopes and dreams, but it was damn good. Yeah.
You know, when I think about Wano, and the reason I say that, like, I feel like each act is its own arc, is because, like you said, one, you know, the length is just so long. It feels like it doesn't feel right to rate it as one thing, but it is. Mm. But similar to you're saying, like, we got so many answers and conclusions that, like, One Piece still has so much more to answer. But it's like this is the first time an arc ended where I'm looking forward to what's next, but I almost aren't thinking like, but what about this? And it's one of the few times where I'm like, bro, like I'm kind of good on the answers. Like there's stuff like I still want to know, but that's like in-game Raftail stuff, you know, Laugh-Tail, when we get there, you know, there's like, man, I'm just like, we got a location for the weapon. That was great. I was like, what happened to Odin's dad? He's been there the whole time. I'm like, oh man, this is cool. Like, I don't even care what's going on in the rest of the world. But, so, here's the thing that's Wano's genius. When I think about something like, let's go all the way back to Punk Hazard. Like, Punk Hazard ended good, but it didn't make any of the lulls or problems I have with Punk Hazard worth it. Every complaint I had about Wano basically was a non-issue when it all wrapped up. And I think that's impressive for something that went on that long. I was like, oh man, this is gonna be stupid or not pay off. Oh, okay, it kind of did. It all came around, like Queen's connection with Sanji, just the minks, everything dealing with the minks. It was just Odin's flashback. Like, I remember so many people were right. It was like, bro, I forgot this was a story about Luffy during that section. Like, I was just good. Normally I'm like, damn, this flashback's going a little long. I got what I needed. I want to get back. No, that could have went on for another 30 chapters. I would have been fine.
If there were to be a spinoff, that would be the spinoff that I would want. Like a director's cut of that moment in history. Because, everything. I don't remember a time, at least recently, I don't remember a time in One Piece where week after week the entire fandom was up in a, oh my god, can you believe what just happened? And like for the longest time, and anytime there was like an extra week break, it would be like, oh thank god, I want to know what happens right away, but I don't know how much more my heart can take. But it's been hype and consistent, and you know, when the conclusion of a Dressrosa or a Whole Cake Island comes around, you see why it took that long. You can understand why they made the decisions for certain fights to last a year, or not, and what have you. Trying not to be specific, but as Wano was happening, there was so much happening that we could get lost in how awesome it all ended up being. Love it.
Absolutely, and I feel like you mentioned like some of those payoffs took like so long to come around, and like I feel like in so many other stories those payoffs come around too quickly, and it doesn't actually feel like that much has been paid off. Whereas well, it's a good thing Wano has been split into 3 sections with characters going back decades, because it feels like so many things have managed to come together at once. And that's why it's been so satisfying, like you said, during the big flashback, and also during so many of the smaller moments. Like I personally was crazy hyped to see Izo enter the scene. Like so many small things that made me just fucking lose it. It's incredible.
You know, you just said lose it, and I'm gonna say, oh, so real quick, I just want us to wrap it up with what we thought was some of our highs and then some of our lows, and then we'll get into, you know, the last third of it, you know, and all the new hype stuff, just for time's sake. But so one of the things One Piece has always been bad with, and this is one of my favorite things about Wano, but actually I wish it wasn't, is death. We all know death has just always been a real, it's a debate in One Piece. I mean, the deaths that matter, and you feel them and it hurt. We cry together, we laugh together. Like Mary's death still, like it's a boat. Like I have to tell myself that all the time. But Wano was different because, okay, so Odin, we already knew Odin was dead, but his deaths hit so hard. Like it just, like it crushed my soul, even though I knew he was gonna.
It mean something. They made, like, here's this guy that we never knew, but how much he is tied to everything, and the type of person that he is reminds us of Luffy, and reminds us of what kind of is important on the sea, like knowledge and freedom, and knowledge gaining you freedom, and like certain things. So absolutely 100%. And as a result of that, the deaths that didn't ever happen but kept like happening over and over and over again, they somehow survived.
Yeah.
So it's always weird to see who lives and who dies, especially after they die like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, you know, I remember back in Whole Cake Island when Pound died, the father of Charlotte and the twins. I remember thinking, man, I felt that. And then like a cover story's like, oh, he's fine. I'm like, why even do that? Why even fake this out? But Wano actually had deaths. I'm bad with Japanese names, people. I'm sorry. The Hedgehog Dynamo, when he died, and then his daughters left laughing because she can't cry, and like it's like, damn, Oda, bro. And then most recently, Izo and the pink-haired Scabbard I was like, they're for real dead. I lost it. Like when you said Izo, I was like, bro, of all the times to be serious about death, Oda, why now? Why now?
You know, that was a big thing for me, because when it happened, I was like, this looks like a death scene, but is Izo actually dead? Like, because in any other series, that final moment with Izo, that would have been, oh yeah, this character's dead. But in One Piece, I had to be like, is he though? Like,
he's just gonna have some bandages on later, you know.
Exactly. So, and to see it actually came through in the end, it felt like an even bigger shock for everyone, just because of how picky Oda is with deaths in the series. I feel like Izo was a good choice. I feel like it really brought a good conclusion to his story, because like he wasn't a major character in the series, but like all the links he had have now sort of been wrapped up, you know. And Ashura Doji is another good one because like had that nice character transformation from that seemingly like rebellious and like outlaw or whatever that wasn't going to work with the rest of the samurai to being like one of the most loyal and proving that in like the death of battle and glory and all that shit. It's very good. It was very good. I think like, it was a really good choice from Oda. But yeah, I kind of expected more from the raid, but
yeah, that's fair. You know, speaking my biggest issue, I have two big issues with this overall. Is one, like, I really feel like it should have just been Big Mom just charging into the island by herself, you know, riding Zeus or what have you, or Zeus replacement. Because I was just like, unless it's gonna pay off when we come back, I was like, so what happened to the Big Mom pirates? Like, are they just like they just showed up? Pedro was the only one to be like, yeah, I'm off the boat, and everyone else is just like MIA. And I feel like that very isn't Oda, so I'm just like, I feel like Oda's not an author to just do things and just be like, oh, I just needed a reason, and now they're just gone. So I'm hoping that pays off. But for some reason, that's always bothered me this entire arc. I'm just like, you brought Big Mom's, like, I assume a sizable force of important people, and then they just went MIA the entire arc. But we'll see. Yeah. We'll see.
That could have been something that was like a Katakuri decision as a result of like, I'm gonna keep everybody. Let's see how this plays out. There's a lot riding on this raid for the Alliance, for the world, as we've started to see some of the effects of. But like there's so many One Piece characters, and there's so many people tied to what's happening now that like Perospero being the only person on the island kind of made sense to me. Because already there were a lot of one-on-ones and a lot of armies, and like you realize it's only going to get bigger. Once we get to the world stage, once we get to whatever the final confrontation between the world government and piracy and the revolutionaries, it's literally going to be it would be a ambitious crossover if it wasn't all characters for the same series. But we're gonna have hundreds of people on the battlefield, and like, I don't know, man.
I'm not saying it wasn't the right choice, because you're right. That would have been way too many characters to keep track of. But I just felt like I said,
too many Charlotte kids.
Yeah, like I was like, if that was the case, Big Mom should have just came by herself with maybe, you know, one person in tow and called it a day. And my final gripe, which is still a gripe now that we know the death total. Like, Hangoro should have died. Like, it was built up. It would have been a good death. And I'm like, the fact that, you know, Aizo and everyone else had these not off-screen deaths, but basically, like, just kind of left there, and we find out later deaths. I'm like, then why give this big to-do for a character that didn't die?
Yeah.
But it doesn't kill it for me. I'm just saying, it would have been a well-earned death. I mean, it's not, again, like we say, people rarely die, so it's not like we're gonna be like, he's killing everybody. But that's it. What about you, Breens, man? What were your highs, your lows from collectively from this?
It's okay. Let me try and reel them off really fast. I love swords. I love Zoro. I love everything that ever happened with him, except when the Grim Reaper showed up. That was strange. I need to find out more about what the hell, what sort of symbolism is going on with that Grim Reaper. I need to know. I need to figure that one out fast. I really love all of that stuff. I love seeing it. I really liked Hiyori. I really liked obviously Wano's culture and everything. When it comes to low points, man, why did Luffy have to spend so much time in a prison? I mean, I know why, but also why? And you know, I have mixed feelings about the final encounter, the final strike that put Kaido down. I have some mixed thoughts and feelings about it, and I'm not quite as satisfied as I thought I'd be yet.
That fight should have ended maybe 2 or 3 chapters earlier, I felt like. But we'll get into this next segment here. What about you, Mark?
I'm excited for the episode. Like, the manga has been super hype. Everything, like, most of the Straw Hat fights were pretty rad. I agree with you on the highs. I wish that it was a little bit more of a decisive. I kind of agree in terms of that last strike, but the Zunesha saying that they can hear the drums of liberation, I lost my goddamn mind. I was reading. I just had like lo-fi on. I was reading on my phone, and I almost fell over. Like I was just like, "What's happening? What's happening?" There a lot of random comedy moments from the island before the raid, the toast, sort of the realignment of it. Like all of the Straw Hats are here. We're all met. Let's go do this, and then the raid begins. Megumi Ishitani, the woman who directed 957, 982, and 1015, the Yamato and Ace episode, just completely changing the game. Like I never think that One Piece can get more pretty or more epic, and then we get new people a chance to direct, and it just becomes absolutely iconic. And I hope that she gets a feature as opposed to just episodes, because we still have more years of features. But it's really hard to like isolate down favorite I guess least favorite would be certain fandoms' reactions to certain characters and certain aspects of characters, but I don't like to dwell on things that I didn't like, so I'm still just really, really high on this whole arc.
That's good, man. I'm glad you could live your life with such positivity. But I'm gonna say I hated the Yamato episode. You know why? Because one, that was a full episode. It was like zero recap, just all story. So great.
Yeah, beautiful.
Animation is amazing. And Breens is looking at me for those just listening like, what do you mean you hated it? Because we went back to the regular One Piece anime formula after that. I was like, oh God, this episode's so amazing. Cool, what's the next episode? A recap of the last 3 episodes? Awesome. Cool, what are we gonna do? Hit somebody once and then all look shocked for 10 minutes? Oh, so that was just a cool episode where we did everything we should have been doing. And now, so the Yamato episode literally ruined me, because like the next 3 episodes after that, before we got to Roof Piece, was just certified garbage in my mind. Coming off of that,
episode, man, just being like, what's better than this? Guys being dudes, and then it goes back to not guys, or guys not.
Oh, that's right. Like, the episode after that was a filler episode to make it even better. Oh God.
Okay, so I unfortunately I agree, because Mark, when you were talking about how good those episodes were, like I was like, yeah, they really are good, and like one of my friends is like a big One Piece fan. He's like behind by 20 chapters, and I annoy him about it every day, because I'm like, you don't understand the things I've got to talk to you about. You don't understand. And he's really frustrated with me about it, but I'm going to keep doing it anyway. But he used to watch the anime, and he's fallen off recently because of the pacing and the animation and blah, 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 blah. But then I'm like, oh, you've got to watch this one episode. And he's like, I haven't watched it in like 100. He's like, I'm like, yeah, but you've got to watch this one. And that's pretty tough to justify. So yeah, I wish that consistency was there. I understand why they do it.
I don't blame that episode. I blame everything else, which is why I'm like, give her the show. Just have her be the director of the next season, of whatever the next batch of episodes of the from Zunesha saying Drums of Liberation on. Give those to her and have it go absolutely insane, because I like. Oh, yeah.
100%. She proved herself. Just give her the reins. Clearly, whoever at Toei Animation is doing this has just got it wrong for I don't know. One Piece has been this bad since, I don't know. I think sometime after Dressrosa, the pacing
was a dip, and then it started getting a little bit better. A little bit better.
Yeah, I don't know. But enough of that, because the next parts of this show is just about to get buck wild. So, all right, people, I should have said spoiler warning, but at this point, I mean, you knew what this was coming into this. So we're going to be talking about the last couple of chapters in the manga, the ending to Wano. We're talking everything up from Gear 5, which if you haven't been keeping up, that's been spoiled for you. So don't even play with me, people. So everything from Gear 5 up until the announcement of the new Yonko. And I gotta say, I love Oda because I love when people on the internet who think they know it all and they did all this research are wrong. And I say they were wrong, but everyone was wrong because no one predicted how Gear 5 was going to be. Everyone's like, oh, I mean, I was geeking like the rest of the world. We're like, oh, crap, Luffy's awakening his devil fruit. You know, we all got all the hints. Kaido being like, oh, clearly your body doesn't move like rubber. People are like, oh, it's tree sap, it's resin, it's this, it's that, blah, 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 blah. And it's Toon powers. Oh, my God.
Maximilian Pegasus, eat your heart out. We're back in Toon World, my guy. Oh my God. I can't wait for the art direction, the sound design. I can't wait to see this come alive in a way that it was popping off the page. Like everything, it like pure absolute hype. And it's only gonna get better. What an amazing reveal. Like all you Skypiea skippers, now you're probably just like, no, F that. No, go back.
Skypiea is not even that bad.
It's not.
It's not bad at all. I'm not even prepared to have this discussion. We're not doing this today.
No.
Yeah.
We're all on the same page. We're all on the same page.
Hold on. I want to say something just for y'all to look at me crazy. I know people love this arc, but I'm going to say this because it needs to be said. Only half of Alabasta is good.
Okay. That's fine.
No, I'm actually not going to fight you on it.
Because people talk about Alabasta like it's just the goddamn game changer of the series. And I'm like, it's good. It's cool for what it is. But I'm glad y'all both agreement.
For a different time.
Yeah, I'm with y'all. Skypiea is great. But I feel like the real discussion needs to be Alabasta. But we can go on.
Yeah.
I don't think we have that kind of time.
One day, we need a whole new podcast for this. Oh, yeah.
So, we get Gear 5. It's amazing. It's cool. He does not look like a Super Saiyan. Thank God. Thank you, Oda, for clarifying that he's pure white because I actually was not a fan of that design. If it was that, I was going to be like, it's cool. Dragon Ball Z expires everything, but it's not. We get that. We get the amazing fight. I'm gonna say this real quick. I preferred collectively, now that they're both finished, the fight with Law Kid and Big Mom over the one with Luffy and Kaido, only because I felt like it should have ended a little sooner. And I don't understand the whole punch them into lava. Are they dead? I don't know what's going on with that. But I really felt like the fight should have ended when Luffy was like, you know what? I'll be a giant. That, like, a chapter after that should have came like the big Humunga Dunga punch. Or maybe that should have been staved off. But I did love how Kaido still, he fought him out of it. He had to get back into it. It was great. I loved my favorite fight to this date, Big Mom, Law versus Kid. And then, but before we go on to the reveals after the fights, how did y'all gentlemen feel about the fights collectively against both Big Mom and Kaido? And anything going in between that?
Okay, let me hit this. I feel like I'm leaning with you on the Big Mom fight versus the Kaido fight. I feel like Kid and Law had to use ingenuity to actually take it down, and against Kid's wishes had to use brains and strategy and like cooperation. Like I feel like you're right. I feel like it's the better overall like choreographed fight. I feel like it's more interesting to look at. Not to undersell the Kaido fight at all, let's face it. I feel like you're right. I feel like it carried out a little bit too long. It had sort of like the Katakuri fight issue where it was like so much had happened. It was sort of hard to like nail down at which point which happened. You have the major points in your mind, but can you remember like where this panel fits? Probably not, But there was just so many good things about that fight too. I mean, like, We've said it all. We've said the art style. I'm sure that the anime is going to do an incredible job. But like, yeah. But I'm sorry. Just to take things away from that entirely, I want to give props to my girl Nico Robin.
You beat me to it.
Yeah, we had to do it. Like, I was thinking for so long. I was like, come on, we haven't had like a good Nico Robin moment in so long. Like, I respect her trying to protect. God, what's her name? There she is. What's the name of the pink haired princess girl in Dressrosa?
Oh God, Rebecca.
Why was I thinking Stacy in my head? Why was I when she was protecting Rebecca from the guy from Aerosmith up on the sunflower field? When she was doing that, that was beautiful, that was excellent. But aside from that, she hadn't really had a big moment in the new world at all. And I feel like she needed this. Some people were like, yeah, she needed a power up. I don't necessarily think she needed a power up, but she just needed a moment. And it definitely gave her that. And so as a result, I'm like, yeah, that's one of my favorite parts of the whole arc.
Demon Mode Robin. I remember I used to get into power rankings arguments all the time with people. Like, clearly, we got Luffy, Zoro, Sanji. That's so. But where's everyone else fall? And I was always kind of like, I think low key the next person is Chopper, and people call me crazy, Chopper or Brook. But then after I'm like, okay, no, it's definitively Robin. Just undoubtedly, Demon Mode Robin changed the game, and just
yeah. Oh, I don't. But you know who else is in the crew now, though, right?
Is Yamato in the crew?
No, I'm not saying Yamato. Jinbei. I had a feeling you were going to say Yamato.
Oh.
I mean, he is, but Jinbei. Right? Is that who you're talking about?
Of course. Yeah. I got a Jinbei over here.
Oh, okay.
Like, he's my man.
Hell yeah, dude.
We got to respect.
Absolutely. Nothing but respect for Fish Dad in this house.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I don't want to get into this, but here's my thing.
But we're gonna.
Here's my thing. I honestly think if it wasn't for plot, Jinbei should really be number 2 to Luffy, but I know the story's not going to allow that to happen. But I'm like, because Jinbei was he was a Shichibukai before, their balls dropped. So I'm like, I find it hard to believe that Zoro and Sanji are like, yeah, Jinbei's a small fry. Like, because Jinbei never got weaker.
No.
He fought Akainu, on even footing in my mind. So
you gotta understand that pirate ships are all anarchist communes, and therefore when someone new enters, they don't have rank. Everyone's equal. They must be elected.
Mm-hmm. No, straight up. Jimmy's got to earn his place.
Damn right. It doesn't matter what you did before, son. What are you gonna do here?
Exactly. A line must be
I think they're never gonna give Jinbei that moment because we all just know even in Fishman Island, Jinbei was just like, oh, casually, oh, Horty, out of here, oh, the giant thing, out of here. I was like, Jinbei was really was just like not doing anything. Like, he could have honestly slapped them all down and been like, are we done here?
He's going to be the first person in this next big. He's going to be the next person to get a big moment. He's going to be the first person to get a big moment now that it's official. And I'm excited what he does in the movie because they're probably going to make him super flippin' hype in Red. But yeah, in terms of the fights, I don't there's just something about Kid. I like him as a character, but I don't find him as interesting. That's just me. I thought the fight was fun, but I'm such a big Awuga Chuck Jones animation fan that I'm just too excited to see what the animation team does with Kaido and Luffy. In terms of the other fights, I wish I was more interested in Sanji's. I wish I was more. Chopper, hands down, being old man Chopper and then being tiny and just all of. There's so much fun and too much to tier list for this. If you have to go fight by fight. I thought the panel of all of the scabbards going up against Kaido is an iconic moment. There's literally too much from just the raid. Not even talking about the saga as a whole. Oh my god. But yeah, so that would be one place where we disagree. But we're all enjoying One Piece, so who cares?
I'm wondering. I'm gonna get a little more into Luffy and Kaido specifically to hone it in, but. Real quick, what are y'all thoughts on? Is this gonna be like hey, Luffy, go Gear 5 again? Oh, I can't. I guess I gotta be at that limit, or is it gonna be like, oh, I can do it anytime I want now? Where do you think we're going with this?
If it is a oh, I have to be at my limit thing, then he's got to get over it really really fast. You know, and to be fair, traditionally in One Piece, like when things like that have occurred, it's like they get it under wraps reasonably quickly. The only exception I can think of right now was like Luffy's 10-minute rest time after using too much haki or whatever.
I wonder
Yeah.
if this is where the revolutionaries are going to come in and give him like, I mean, I know what you said about the prison, but he got the next Rio Haki out of that.
Mhm.
So we might get another like mini thing where now that it's public that Joyboy is back and it's that guy, I would imagine Dragon's going to move in and just be like, okay, we need to talk. And we need to make sure that this is something that you can do on the fly. I think there's going to be a period of time where he's going to go "Bleh," and going to have to figure it out.
Yeah, I know.
Just to clarify, I don't hate the whole prison idea as a
okay.
plot, but it's the training arc trope is my problem, and it was just fairly long and like, oh, now we're dunking kid's head in a bucket of water. He's going to drown in like the next 15, 20 minutes, half an hour. I don't know. You best learn haki by then. Like, this is why I was happy that like Ruskaina and the Rayleigh stuff was actually just off screen. Like 2 years, boom, done. That's cool. That's fine by May. He's powerful now. That's the point we wanted to get to. I don't need to see like a weird kid torture sequence in the middle of it.
That's fair.
Wano's good though, huh?
You know, so it's weird. I'm a sucker for good training arcs. Like I don't know if it's because, you know, that's what I grew up with, being a child of the 90s. I was born in 1990, people, for clarification. So when I mean 90s, I mean all of it. I'm not one of you 1997 kids. You were not there for nothing. Stop claiming my decade. But
I thought you were trying to exclude me then for being 91.
Oh no.
Do I get in still? Is that cool?
Yeah, you're still in the club. You're still in the club.
All right,
Just
cool.
made it.
If you're born after 1995, I'm sorry, you got to see yourself out. But it like I love, like, you know, the whole training arc and stuff. So I do agree with you. The kid stuff was a little overdone because we already had the foundation. We saw Rayleigh do it. We all had enough foundation to where it could be like, look, this is possible. You're in the ring. So yeah. But okay, so going to the Kaido fight, I enjoyed it. Overall, it's a 9 out of 10 for me. Well, the things I don't get were like, I was like, okay, it's the Momo bits. It's really the Momo bits that kill me because it's
Okay, you can't throw that at the fight, you know? Like, that is happening.
no,
over
because
here.
Momo is he's integral to the fight. It's okay. My thing was like, how many times can you tell someone to man up and do something over the course of a fight? Because it was like, man up and do it. Okay, here it is. All right, man up and do it this time. All right, man up and do it because, you know, the plot needs the island to now be moved. And also, I'm gonna say this. Okay. This could be my reading comprehension. I can tell which dragon was which after Luffy delivered the final punch. I was like, wait, I had to reread that 3 times.
Still alive.
Because I was like, oh, he just knocked Kaido down, but where's this hole go? The hole went to, oh, that's Momo. Oh, okay, there's 2, yes. Got it now. I needed some color in that section.
I mean,
No, I feel like it's an easy mistake to make.
yeah, I mean, it'll be different. I imagine it'll be different when, again, the anime will fix some things, but I imagine they'll fix the pacing of that too. Or they'll make it its own episode where it'll start with Momo trying to man up, and then they'll give him a different opportunity to man up at the end, and somehow we'll go nowhere. But I don't hold that. I don't hold that against the fight. I hold that against the pacing of that section. When, you know, in a area where we were jumping from place to place to place to place to place to place to place, and now we only have 2 places to jump or 3 places to jump if you count the festival. Like, yeah, that makes sense, but that also fits with the style that they were going for at the time. So I don't hold that against the fight. I hold that against the pacing. That's just me.
Breens, where you at on this situation?
Big fan of Momo, honestly. Big fan of Momo. Not a big fan of the constant man up stuff, admittedly. But I don't know. I feel like Momo's had like a lot of really good Momo. I feel like Momo's had a lot of really good moments in Wano. That was strange. And like, I feel like it's very easy to disregard how much he's been through as a character because we either haven't seen all of it or we haven't been there with him as it's happening, and also now that he's like been aged up without having the mental maturity. I don't know. I gotta tell you, in real life, would I recommend just like shouting at an 8-year-old to man up for 24 hours straight? No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. But in One Piece, it was effective, if a little bit repetitive. I do feel like it was some of the stuff was kind of strange, like the flame cloud stuff. Like that felt more worthy of a training montage than some of the stuff we actually got. You know, like he had to improvise an awful lot, and then he was like, "Oh, I can just control Kaido's flame clouds instead of creating my own," and it kind of went around in circles for a while. Same with Yamato chasing the explosives in the basement.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm going on a tangent now.
No, it's cool. It's cool.
It felt. I agree. It felt like they were stretching for time, like the anime would, but it was in the manga.
Yeah. That's a great way to put it. That is a great. And for the record, like I know that's a big argument in the community. I agree. I respect Momo. Like he is a child, regardless of being aged up. His mentality. You're asking him to do giants, but like I love. There's some moments that when Luffy was like, "You screamed at a warlord to see." What else do you have to be afraid of? Love that moment. Top 10 moment.
Yeah.
Maybe not top 10, but top 10 and how I'm feeling right this second. Moment. And I get it, but it is not like, I'm not necessarily angry at like you're telling a child to man up. It's the repetitiveness. It's like someone being like, take the shot. And then, something happens. It's like, all right, now take the shot again. And then, something happens. It's like, take the shot. And they finally shoot. It's like, bro, why did you not shoot? Like, fine, take the shots earlier. That's just where I was in my mind with it.
Yeah.
It's like, we're either going to take the shot or not. But stop saying it.
I feel like what Mark said there was like, it feels like they're stretching for time, even in the manga itself. I feel like that kind of goes back to my complaints about the prison. I feel like that's kind of how it felt sometimes. It does seem like Oda feels the need to check in on all his characters, especially if they're split up in various locations doing different things. He's like, oh, it's been a full month, which in reality is like 3 chapters since we saw what Sanji was doing in this location. But in reality, he's not actually doing much interesting, so he has to fabricate some sort of crazy contrivance for something to happen.
Really
at least that's sometimes how it feels.
You just reminded me of one of my favorite parts because it was so stupid. When all of a sudden Zoro hears Sanji's voice in his pocket, and Sanji's just like, "Oh yeah, I slipped a Denden Mushi into your pocket when you weren't looking,
exactly.
just so that we can talk."
Yeah, it was so strange, and it feels like Oda did that again in a completely different arc at the end of Whole Cake Island when he was supposedly slipped the raid suit, and then like a few chapters later, it was like, yeah, that happened. It was like, no, it didn't. Don't tell me it happened. Like, okay, whatever, and then you just got to move on.
All right, so we're gonna move into after the fight stuff, but I want to give a big shout out to Yamato for making me realize that Momo is just Odin without the plate on his head. Because I was like, oh, there. I had a good laugh. I had a good belly laugh. Like I was like, yeah, he looks like his dad. And I was like, oh, he's his dad without like the plate haircut.
I love that panel.
But it's also a great visual indicator of a modern and classic of like how Momo is going to be this, lack of a better term, like integrated with the world at large and Wano by having this classical style, but also representing what Wano can be when opened up to the world at large. And I love little things like that. And then also Yamato being a total dingus about it, that makes me love him that much more.
Yeah, and so now we're getting into the all the reveal stuff, and we finally got to meet the newest, latest Navy Admiral Roya. Okay, whoever can pronounce it better, go ahead and say it for me. Before
I need to find. I
you just say Aramaki?
Okay, all right, Maki, there we go. I can say that. We finally got to see who people were predicting was Zoro's dad because he's green, Zoro's green. I'm like, that's stupid. That's stupid. Like, I get we got a whole dad thing with Sanji, but I remember telling somebody, if this admiral is Zoro's dad, like, I'm gonna quit the series because that's just bad. And now we've seen the guy, clearly he's not. Ultimately, if he turns out to be, then I mean, y'all guessed it right. But I'm going out. But we got to meet him. It's cool. He has plant powers. He's photosynthetic, is why I guess he hasn't ate in 2 years. That tracks. Mm-hmm. He make quick work of Queen and King, so we know he's powerful. But here's why I want to get y'all's opinions. What is his true motive? Is he ally, foe, or something in between? Because we know he doesn't. Akainu doesn't know what he's doing. He's a simp for Akainu, apparently. He wants to get in his good favor, but we still don't know. We still don't know if he's there to like wreak havoc and try to bring them back or do something, or actually a good guy or something in between. Where's he falling on your radar?
He's either chaotic neutral or chaotic evil. I don't know which.
I think he's chaotic evil because if Akainu took over and Aokiji was supposed to represent lazy justice, then Akainu was going to promote somebody to literally fill his spot. And oh god, I forgot the name of the other guy. I see him in my brain. I can't remember. Anyway, brain.
Describe him.
Fujitora.
Oh, the blind admiral.
Description.
Because Fujitora seems to be character-wise a little bit more ambivalent to the government. He's blind justice. I feel like Ryokyugu is going to be this absolute asshole, just in the way, in a similar way of Akainu, by possibly even going a little bit further than he might. And in being chaotic, he'll be reckless, and that'll probably lead to his downfall. Right now, probably not. But it'll be a great way for everybody to be like, cheese it, it's the cops. We gotta flip and go, dude.
So I'm thinking this is what I'm thinking. If he is truly chaotic evil, he's not good by our standards, straight, douche marine, for lack of a better term. I'm thinking someone is going to intercept him before he gets to the Straw Hats. Like, either the revolutionaries are on the island, an unforeseen party is on the island. I think something's going to happen. Because if he's that part, like, I feel like we won't actually have a meeting of our main characters. Is that what I'm getting? So I'm thinking if he makes contact, then in my mind that's gonna prove that he's either neutral or like if he's bad, he's gonna be like a goofy bad. Like, yeah, I'm here to mess things up, but I messed it up somehow. That's just where I'm getting at, because I feel like if he's as evil as he's making out to be as he is now, then him and Luffy probably won't meet yet. Is my guess.
Is really good at preying on our expectations.
This is true,
and that encounter reminds me a little bit too much of when Aokiji was just like, "Hey, Robin, are you okay?" at the celebration at the end of that arc. And so I feel like, could you imagine if it all just kicks off right now? Like, if there's no break period, there's no rest, there's no nothing, but it just kicks off, and for the next 5 years, we're just in it. They're running all the time, barely at 100%, and they have to. Something is going to have to happen. They don't get their long rest, nothing, and it just happens. That'd be crazy.
I gotta tell you, like, my gut feeling right now is that so many things in One Piece have been wrapped up, and it's like for the longest time in the story, we've almost always known what the next like destination is, or even the destination after this one. It's like, sure, we didn't know we were going straight to Zoe after Dressrosa, but then like we always knew that we were going to move towards Wano at some point, and then like from Whole Cake, because of course we knew where we were going to go. Right now, we don't know where we're going to go. Like, it's just not clear at all. We don't have like a complete direction. However, we do seem to have a majority of the poneglyphs. So what's going to happen next is either pretty much going to be a straight shot for the One Piece or some crazy, crazy crap. I feel like the only thing that can distract from the main goal of seeking the last island at this point and going to Laugh Tale is crazy, crazy crap. It has to go down. It has to go down. Will Ryo Kogyu, that is it, right? Ryo Kogyu.
Ryo Kogyu.
Yeah, Q, that's it. Okay, will he come and cause chaos right now? Probably. But will it be the sort of chaos that requires us moving off the island immediately? Don't know. However, I do kind of expect this to be like the inverse of the post-Enies Lobby arc, where, of course, there we had Garp show up and it seemed very threatening, but no, he's actually a good guy. I think this might be the opposite, you know? Makes me nervous.
Yeah, I mean, we got a whole month. I remember the after the Marineford, and it was like One Piece is gone for a month. I was like 4 weeks, blah! And I remember thinking that wait was insane, and I'm like, okay, this wait is like I'm good because so much has happened. We can relax, but I'm just like, man, it's like you said, we don't know. Like the only thing I feel like we know are gonna happen for sure at this point is we'll hit Elbaf at some point, and we'll hit Laugh Tale at some point. But is Elbaf next? Who knows? For all we know, Elbaf could be destroyed. We haven't known what's going on in the outside world. And
this is the thing, because I believe we're gonna go to Elbaf. I really do. I feel like it's the only other place left that has like all the foreshadowing. But like, unless it has a poneglyph or something, there is no story reason for the characters to need to go there. You know?
What if a different crew goes to Elbaf and fills us in after the fact? Like, what if it's Bardo Club? What if Bardo Club goes and it's
People would be vexed. People would be vexed.
I'm telling y'all.
Reading going, good for him. Like, that's it.
The story component is Elbaf has been destroyed. I don't know by who. I assume Blackbeard. Like, I really feel like that because I'm with you. There's no real reason to go to Elbaf, other than we just figure we'll go there because, it's like Laboom. Yeah. Like, we'll see him again. Like, but I was thinking, I was like, I feel like we won't ever get there because it's been just ransacked.
What if it got Buster called?
Yeah, just and they'll be it. The Giants were taken out. They, we don't know what all these epic events. I did see this. Yeah, I did see this interesting theory. Bucky's a warlord because when Shanks went to go talk to the elders, that was the pirate he told them about. It wasn't Blackbeard or Luffy. He went to go tell them about Buggy just to mess with them.
Effing clown! I swear to God, he's a stick in my ass, and I can't.
He's a clown. That's what makes it great. The pun works in so many levels.
This guy's a clown.
I actually heard that one. I actually think it's actually pretty solid. Like, not even as a joke. I actually think there is potential that is like a genuine plot from Shanks. I wouldn't be surprised. Because like, we rarely see much from Shanks, but clearly from what little we have seen of him, he's plotting. He knows things. Like, I'm convinced that the way Marineford went down was according to his rough plans or expectations at the very least. So I wouldn't be surprised if Buggy being in his position is also part of some master plan.
I would believe it. There's part of me that still believes Shanks is a bad guy. Like, not because I want him to be, just because that would just be like such a bad but real good story device if like somehow Shanks was actually like just, I won't say just outright evil, but someone that needed to be stopped for reasons.
I feel like if anything, he'll put on the face to get Luffy to do something he doesn't want to do. And when Luffy does it, he'll go, thank you, my child. I can die now, or something. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't want it. We already have evil people that need to be stopped. We don't need a good person that we've been following literally this entire time to all of a sudden be like, "Zoink, I'm evil." Like, nah, I don't. I don't think that's in Oda's playbook. I don't think he would do that.
I don't think Shanks is evil necessarily, but I definitely think he has his own dreams and intentions. I say dreams purposefully because thematic is important to say that. I feel like he definitely has his own dreams, and I don't think his dreams end at Luffy becoming the Pirate King.
All right, so we need to talk about something real quick: the Yamato debate, and not the one y'all are thinking. The other Yamato debate with. Can Yamato join the crew? Because Luffy said he only wanted 9 people. We have hit 9 people. Because I'm just going to say, if Carrot's not joining the crew, then Yamato's not joining the crew either. That's my stance. I'm like, no. If Carrot can't join because we hit the cap, then I feel like Yamato can't join either. That's just how I feel. I love Carrot. I'm not a furry or nothing. I just like Carrot.
Oda's kind of like an honorary member of the Pirate King's crew. Like, not like an official member, but more honorary. I feel like Yamato could take that position. Maybe.
Honorary, like Grand Fleet, like captain, or like
no, like Vivi. Like Vivi.
Yeah, like it's a guest character. It's Akuma in Tekken 7. It's fine.
But Yamato won't actually be on the ship sailing to the next destination.
Yes, he will. I think he will, but it's for how long? Like until he figures out what his role in this whole thing is. But he's not going to be the spitting image of Odin unless he goes on the ship of the future Pirate King. So he's gonna even he said it. So I think he believes that he's gonna do it. And so I feel like whether anybody likes it or not, Yamato is going to be like, no, I'm a Straw Hat. So in a way, it's like a spectrum of Bardo on this side, Yamato on this side of no, I'm a Straw Hat, but we want this one.
It's so weird because Oda is a mad lad. He's a genius. He's a troll. Because Yamato's the only person like, I want to join the crew. And Luffy's not there to give the automatic yes. It's just like, ho. I'm like, why are you doing this, bruh? Why are you doing this? I mean, I guess Carrot won't be. She'll go back to Zoe, I'm assuming. Okay, if Yamato's an honorary member, is Carrot an honorary member too then?
I think Carrot's gonna be the character that we see in the final battle that will be like amongst the people of Zoe that are standing with Luffy, if anything. And we know what Carrot is capable of. We know what everybody else is capable of on Zoe. Hopefully they'll do the battle at night where there'll be a full moon. But other than that, like I think we have too many characters for people to not just get a flash of, oh, they're here too. They're here backing Luffy up. You know what they can do because you know their history. But other than that, as much as I would love for Carrot to stay on the ship, I don't think she's going to.
Unfortunately, I'm in the same position. I feel like all of the way Carrot's story has been progressing, especially with her affection for Pedro. I feel like she's destined to take over his position as like one of the representatives and leaders of the Minks.
Yeah, I mean,
but she'll say like it's what he would have wanted or something, and then we'll be like, okay, well, we're fine with it then. One of the few people that died had a wish for this character. Okay, I guess we'll do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so Yamato joins the ship. Where did they get off at?
I don't know where he would. Like, I imagine if they go back to Wano to sort of regroup, or when we don't know where we're going.
That's true. Okay, that's a bad question. We don't for all we know, Wano's the only island left on the planet. That's based on all the information we got now. So, okay, moving past who is getting on the ship, who's officially on the ship. We've already, our last segment is, our predictions for the last saga. And yes, people, just for clarification, he said saga, not arc. Saga is an all-encompassing word. The whole One Piece up until this point can be considered a saga. But the point is we're in the end game now. We're in the end game. Yeah.
Oh, but now there's the game.
So, here's my thing. Here's my thing. Regardless of those destinations, where the destinations are, how many places do you think we feasibly can go before we hit Laugh Tale? I'm thinking we're gonna hit God Valley, or what was once known as God Valley. We're gonna hit Elbaf in some way, shape, or form. Whether we actually land there, whether we pass by it, where there's a battle in the ocean. So we got God Valley, Elbaf. I think possibly Beehive, and I feel like that's probably the only three we're spending legitimate time here places we can possibly go with.
I also think like 3 locations, but I'm actually including Laugh Tale in that.
Oh, okay.
So that's just how few places I think we're gonna go. At least for like a decent arc, and then like a final battle wherever. I don't know. One day I'll share my God Valley theory. It's too long for the.
I think if we're gonna go to God Valley, that's where the final battle's gonna happen. Whether it'll be all of the things coming together, or where Blackbeard and Luffy will fight. Whether that's the final battle, I don't know. But I feel like there's gonna be something climactic there. In terms of where we could, Flip, man, I don't know. Wherever Oda wants to take us, I'm down. And even though he says, yeah, it'll be 5 years, he said that before. So I don't necessarily believe him. If it happens, it's been a good ride.
Yeah. And now that we know that Pluton, Pluton, the battleship, now that we know the battleship is in Wano, for freaking sure.
We could go to space.
Here's my question. Do we see Pluton before we leave Wano? Regardless of what Ryogoku is about to do we see Pluton?
Yes.
Yeah.
100%?
Yes.
Guaranteed?
Yes. I'll say 80%.
Yes.
Breens, I love your energy. He's like, I'm not even debating. I'm not giving you reasons. It's just a resounding yes. Will the sun come up tomorrow? Yes. I don't need to prove that.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Listen, you look at the manga, the panels happen, and then Pluton will be there. That's all I'm saying. That's my full logic.
Will Pluton be destroyed, or is it gonna like? Well, I wonder what are we gonna do, because no blueprints exist because Frankie burned them. So that's it. Pluton is there. So I'm like, if it gets destroyed, well, that's just the end of Pluton, right? No more Pluton.
What if Ryukyu's there just to take the ship, and he takes the ship, and that's it? That's all.
Surely
he's there for the ship.
Surely he wouldn't know that there's that.
I mean, by his own admission, he's only there to get Luffy's head to impress Akainu. Yeah. I mean, that's what he claims. I still think he could just been saying that, but I can't remember. Was that inner monologue, or did he actually say that to someone? Because if it's inner monologue, then it's probably true.
I think he was saying out loud to himself.
Oh, okay.
He was saying it to us. I'm dangerous. He could have said that too.
All right, so we got Poseidon, we got Pluton, and now we just need what's the other Greek god I'm forgetting here?
Yeah, what was it? There's so much One Piece, man.
Is it Neptune? That's not Neptune.
No, because we had the King Neptune.
It's
because Hiroshi is she's Poseidon, Pluton's the ship, and then what's the other one?
Man,
come on, One Piece experts. That's why I got you.
I mean, it's been a while.
The point is, we now have 2 of the 3. We got 2 of that. That's exciting. So,
he's Googling. Come on, Mark, pull it out.
No, I was just saying, unless people already have it. Uranus.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, and Uranus was the Yeah, we don't know.
Is it
Uranus
still
a dangerous
unknown? We
weapon.
still don't know what it is even supposed to do.
Uranus was a weapon known to have existed during the Void Century. Its actions during this point in history, its specifications, abilities, locations, and what became of it since remains unknown.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's a big question mark. All right, we're forgiven. No one knows except Oda.
Okay.
It's on the moon.
You know, are we ever gonna go to the moon and get Enel? Like, are we just done with that?
No, Enel's just gonna show up, and people are gonna go, "What is happening?" And then all the manga readers are just gonna be like, "Yo, it finally happened. We told you we're not crazy."
We're gonna meet those little moon gophers that he was hanging out with, wherever those were.
Absolutely.
He's gonna discover some crazy stuff on the moon, like some crazy truth, and then he's gonna have to like come down on Earth to like enact a reckoning or something. It's coming.
Yeah.
I feel it.
Yeah. Before I say my crazy next thing, I just want to say, where y'all at with this? Like, I mean, I feel like we need an answer. We probably won't get one. But Big Mom and Kaido dead? Yes or no? We don't have to have a debate. Just a simple yes or no.
No.
The end. No.
All right.
No
now that we all agree that they're not dead, are they gonna come back and just be out of the story? Like, oh, we're too injured to like, be important, or like they're coming back with like the same force that they were known as?
I think if anything, they'll show up at like a climactic battle and help, as opposed to like the stakes will be so high where it'll literally be like the fate of the world. And you'll see them roll up and be like, "Oh, no, not them. This is about freedom." And everybody's gonna roll up and take down whichever big bad will be there at the time. If we see them, if not, then they're just gonna read a news coup about something that's happening in the world, and we're like, "Oh, they're alive."
Big news.
Oh, I love that guy. Holy cow! Just the best. And the fact that he's been like, "F the government, I got news to report." Where do you stand? The press has no allegiance.
All right.
I swoon over a real journalist. I do.
If I could be like Morgan's, I would be a real journalist.
Mm-hmm.
I respect Morgan's because at first I remember thinking like, why does the government ever stop him? But I didn't know he was like a big power play. Like when CP0 showed up and he was like, "Oh, CP0, get the fuck out of my face." I'm like, oh my, I didn't know you were strong too. It makes sense. But just like, I just wasn't expecting him to like drop kick a CP0 agent and be all like, "Stop me. You don't want me to prison, stop me." And he was like, "Everybody roll out time," and then like hits the lever and like the whole thing like takes off. I'm like, this guy's amazing.
Yeah.
Hard hitting journalism.
Literally.
All right, guys. So we've been going for a while. We're actually not that bad on time, but I do want to wrap this up with there's no amount. It could be 1 or 10 things, but the biggest questions you want answered when we get back as soon as possible. Clearly not gonna get all, but the sooner we get them, the better you'll be. Mine's are gonna be is, what exactly is King? Like what is him and his people? Like, is he like from the moon, not from the moon, from some other outer space thing? He's got wings, like, he's from Skypiea, but like he's not like the Skypiea people. Like, I don't know what's whole King situation. Like, of all the times not to give me a month-long flashback, I really could have used that, but that's okay. I'll wait on that. I need to know immediately, like within 2 chapters of coming back, what's up with the king of the world? Why does he have the Renegon? Like, what's up with that? Did Madara lose so bad he had to like warp dimension into One Piece? Need to know what's up with that ASAP. It is driving me crazy. And those are my top 2.
I believe he's actually like one of the I believe he's from the moon. I actually believe like the Shandians and the Birkins are actually like human and Lunarian crossbreeds. That's my One Piece fan theory. I'm gonna throw that one out there. I definitely feel like I mentioned earlier that I feel like NL's discovered some sort of great truth on the moon, and I actually believe the Lunarians were 100% aware of that truth in their time on the One Piece planet, and like that's why I feel like they seem to have knowledge of Joyboy. Which I would also connect to to God Valley, because as we know that the God Valley is called God Valley, and Lunarians are previously called gods. I believe that the God Valley is on the red line for the way. That's just my theory.
Ooh.
You said we didn't have time.
Because listen, this is how it goes. When Roger and Garp fought in God Valley, they protected the celestial dragons and their slaves. Of course, they wouldn't actually want to protect the celestial dragons. However, by preventing something happening at God Valley to cause the destruction of the Red Line, yes, they saved Mary Joa, but more importantly, they saved the slaves, because it was going to be like the climactic event. This is the event that was going to happen at God Valley, which is going to shatter the Red Line, is the event that's going to like end the series. However, it was too early. It wasn't right. That's my theory. I'm going to stop now.
That's great. No, I love that. Yeah,
It's coming.
I don't know how I could possibly divert off of that, because that's all I want to talk about now.
Believe it. But yeah, no, I definitely think the Lunarians are from the moon, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean,
why are they gophers? That's all. I want to know that too. Like, why are they gophers? Like, I like, it's One Piece. It's cool. I'm just I don't know. That really bothered me. That's one of the few things I can't accept in One Piece for some reason.
It's because Zoro kept saying, "What's his race? I need to find out what race he is." It's like, this is the first time it's ever become relevant, Zoro. You killed a guy made of steel. You weren't asking him. Where you from, bro?
Before I kill you.
Right? Like, Jesus.
Oh, man. You know, if this is my thing about the world government, there's so many people y'all shouldn't be let running free that y'all let run free. I don't get it. Like, I'm not sure Kaido is just a regular human, but like, I mean, you let him go. I mean, I guess to their effect, they tried to capture him like 1,000 times, and he got away 1,000 times.
There's so much business that they shouldn't be getting up in, and I think like a lot of people's complaints about, well, how are we just finding out about this? How are we just finding out about this? And to me, that's a statement of, one, government in general, but two, the world government being like, if anybody finds out that the status quo that we have been promoting over the past generation is bunk and isn't anything, then we are immediately going to lose all of our power, and the world will be thrown into chaos, and we'll probably be killed. So I think everything right now that Morgans has done his best absolute job and revealed that, hey, Luffy's a reincarnated god. Gods are real, blah, 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 all of this. Now the world is going to be tipping even further into a, hey, what does the world government do again? What are they good for? And now it's just going to be total chaos mode, and it's just going to be like fights and uprisings and revolutionaries and pirates and all sorts of crap that's just going to devolve into pirate warfare on the high seas, which is something that I'm all about. One Piece. Damn. Anyway.
I personally believe that a lot like real life, there aren't enough Marines to police the whole world, and therefore the only way to keep it safe and dependent on the Marines is to ensure that some of those powers are fighting each other and not teaming up. You know?
Dang. We're not gonna get political, people, but I mean, like, okay, this is why y'all should watch One Piece. The more you watch One Piece, the more you're like, damn, bro, this is like real life.
Are you up to date on your anarchist literature? Are you?
I mean, like, one of my in Movie Zed, if I don't know if y'all watched it, just one of my favorite things is when they talk to Aokiji, and he's like, oh yeah, no, the government knew about this and they lied about it. And the crew goes, the government lied? And we were watching going, damn right the government lied. What are you sitting here talking about? You fought the government. Like, what the hell?
Oh, man. You know, I'm going to end with this because I said we're going to talk about it. And we're just going to keep going in circles at this point. But whenever we learn about the Void Century, I'm like, there's no way we don't have like a Wano twice as long as Odin's flashback about, because there's nothing you can tell me that we can learn about the Void Century in like 2 to 3 chapters. Like, like there's no, like I feel like we need like a whole bro. Forget about One Piece for 2 months, and we're about to talk about the Void Century
Spinoff. Spinoff.
I don't think Oda has zero intentions of leaving something that bold to like, because I'm like, I don't know. Like I was gonna say the Void Century is one of my things, but I feel like that's a duh. Like that's everybody's thing.
I don't. That's the thing is, I don't think he'll leave it up to anybody else. I think he will finish One Piece because, damn it, he said he's gonna finish One Piece, and then he'll be like, well, I didn't tell every story. And then all of a sudden, no, we're gonna be back in it. I feel like the further we get to the end, the more the films are gonna be canon. And so, like, by the last couple of years, it's just gonna be like, oh, I didn't have enough time to buy it. Okay, we'll do a movie.
Okay, so I can see a Void Century movie, but there's no way we learn about that. Like, it's in the majority of the good stuff about it after the series. There's no way. There's no way.
Honestly, I hate to say it. So we were talking about, I'm going to just link a bunch of things I've been thinking about here together. I'm sorry. Earlier on, we were talking about Big Mom's crew showing up at Wano and also being useless. They didn't do anything. They just sort of showed up and didn't do anything. And every time I think about that, I think about how much of a shame it is because Oda in SBS had to explain Smoothie's ability because he never got to show it in Whole Cake Island. And then when she came back in Wano, I was like, well, here's the opportunity. And she still did nothing. And it made me realize at that point, I was like, man, Oda like plans out his world in detail, but he doesn't plan out the events in quite so much detail. Clearly doesn't quite have the time. He wanted to show off Smoothie, he didn't find the time to do so. I feel like there's going to be a lot of that. I feel like there's going to be a lot of situations where it's like, oh, we really wanted to show this, we didn't necessarily find the time to do so. I would love to see movies from it, but alternatively, like the Dr. Stone mangaka Boichi has done some really incredible artworks and doing the Ace stuff. And also we've had the Shokugeki no Soma mangaka, I don't know their name, do some fantastic Sanji one-shots. I've been loving those. I could absolutely imagine Oda potentially supervising or informing the general plot of some like spin-offs, one-shots, movies. I do feel like after all this, he probably should take a break. Let's go to bed.
Oh yeah, bro. Yeah,
take a walk, like, you know. But yeah, I don't expect the whole story to unfortunately be told in as much depth as I want. I feel like he has it all in his mind. Whether it all gets to page, I don't know. Yeah. But to be fair, I'm imagining like once One Piece is in that stage where it's like one year left to go, his editors probably aren't going to be quite so eager to say, "Yo, we need to speed this up." They're probably going to give him a little bit more leeway. So maybe.
That's cool. Yeah, you're right. You know whatever. But what ends up being shown, I know is gonna blow our mind either way, because I remember in the last couple of months of just reading Wano, it doesn't feel like it's months, but it's really months, that I remember there were so many back-to-back chapters like a month ago where I was like, my mind can't get blown every week. My constitution can't handle it. It was just like constant, oh my God, did you read One Piece? Oh my God, did you read One Piece? Oh my God, like just read it. But yeah, so I'm looking.
Meme of One Piece was really good this week.
So I look forward to it. It's gonna be great. But Breens, real quick, where can the people find you, keep up with you, get that full God Valley theory from you?
Hell yeah, you should follow me on Twitter at BoldBreens, or you can search Breens on Spotify and you'll find my somewhat good music.
We'll support here. People, links always in the descriptions below. And Mark, where can the people find you, keep up with your work, all that good stuff?
If you want more places to listen to One Piece theories, general One Piece content, piratey goodness, make sure you follow Yayo Talk Show on Twitter, Twitch, Tumblr, YouTube, and anywhere where you get your podcasts. And you can follow me on my streaming and Twitter at Mark B. Donica.
All right. As always, everyone, thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining me, fellas. Y'all were a God Valley scent. You see what I did there? But,
ooh, nice.
We'll definitely, have y'all on again. Maybe with our fourth guest. We'll keep it a surprise for you. He might be joining us next time. But as always, everyone, I'm Oda Harmon Jr. You can find me at Oda Harmon Jr. Have a great week. Be blessed. Peace.